Where's your project? I don't have one. Actually, it's not true. It's right there. But it looks pretty bad. It looks pretty bad. And I'm not going to show it to you yet. So if I don't have a project, why am I here? I'd like to talk to you about a little concept that I've been thinking about called embracing chaos. When I say embracing chaos, I'm not sure what that conjures up for you. Let me tell you what I mean by that. Sometimes, when you're making something, things don't go to plan. Whether or not that plan was written down or just in your head. Whatever visual you had of success, you didn't reach it. A lot of times, we call that failure. I would call it, failure. I think failure works. I think we're just gonna call it failure. The word is a buzzword and people like to talk about it. You didn't really fail unless you didn't pick up where you left off and kept going. No, you failed when XYZ didn't go the way you expected it to. So it's good to hear that word and know that it's not a bad word. Failure isn't a four-letter word. Fail is a four-letter word, but failure isn't. It's okay. You know what? It doesn't matter that fail is in fact a four-letter word. It's not a four-letter word. Do you understand? Does that make sense? I feel like we're off to a good start. Definitely feel like we're off to a good start. On the 27th of December, I thought to myself, Peter, we should make something quick. Make something simple. And so I set off to make a simple project that I could finish in 2 or 3 days and release on December 31st. It is now, the 7th of January 2019? And that thing right there doesn't look anything like what I had in my head. I don't know whose head that vision came out of, but it wasn't mine. It wasn't easy to get to this point of a project that looks like that you're not going to see until you do. And I'll try to make it funny. I will. It'll be funny. You'll see the video and you'll think, that's hilarious. Oh my gosh, look at all the issues this guy's having. He is really good at embracing chaos. He is good at embracing failure. And in a video, I'm really good at it. Because it happens. And failure happens. And you don't have to pretend like you don't fail. Just me setting out to make this ugly object that I'm staring at, I can count 4 failures in the project. Does that mean that I'm a failure? No, it doesn't. It does mean that I'm having a lot of trouble with it. Now, if somebody came up to me, and they'll say to me, Peter, I'm really thankful that you put your failures in your videos. It helps me see that, that everybody has issues and mistakes. And I always say the same thing. I say, if you're not failing, you're not making, and you don't have to feel bad about failures. And that's true. But I always feel bad about failures. And I always feel bad about putting failures in my videos because I feel like they show my lack of ability. That's the voice in your head, and it's normal. And I want to tell you that so that you can say, oh my gosh, I have that same voice in my head. It's totally normal to hear this voice, to hear somebody in your head saying, you totally screwed up. I bet XYZ Maker could have made that without any problem. Had you just sent them this thing, it would be perfect. And maybe it would be, and maybe it wouldn't be. That's not the point. The point is, we don't get to where we are without making mistakes, right? I'm working on my project over here at 2,000 RPMs, and I had a mistake. And it was a little mistake, but it bothered me. And so now I'm focused on the mistake. And I'm thinking about the mistake as I'm working on the next part of it, and I make another mistake. Because I wasn't in the moment anymore. I wasn't embracing the chaos of that situation. I was thinking, I wish I hadn't have done that. Because wishing that things hadn't happened is useless. It is an absolute waste of your time. It does nothing for you. If it drives you crazy enough that you can't stand it, then stop it and start over from scratch. That's my best advice. If your personality says, I can't deal with things that aren't perfect, then walk away from it, start over from scratch. I think though, you'll be happier if you learn to embrace the chaos. Okay, I've now got a ding. This diameter was going to be 1/2 inch. It is now going to be 1/4 inch. Let's see what happens. And it's a better way to be in the shop, and it's certainly a better way to be in life. Now, it's easy to say these things out loud. Oh, it's so simple. Do this, do that, piece of cake, problem solved. But the fact of the matter is that even me saying that out loud doesn't mean that I'm going to do it. But it helps to say it. It helps to think it, it helps to remember that mindset, and it helps to show you that, you know, things aren't always hunky-dory on this side of the camera lens. Sometimes, you know, things are difficult. Sometimes things upset me, and I shouldn't let them, but they do. Failures are part of making, and I don't like the way they feel any more than you do. They don't feel good. But if we don't show them, and if we don't admit to ourselves and to other people that things are sometimes chaotic, then we're going to set these weird, unrealistic goals for ourselves, and we're going to make ourselves feel bad about that. I remember reading about this when I was back in high school. They were X-raying masterpieces, painted masterpieces, and finding other works of art below them. So Da Vinci was working on something, and he looked at it and he went, "This is crap. This isn't me." And he just whitewashed the whole thing, you know, and started over. Leonardo da Vinci, a master, right? Has had failures. So if I can't get my resin and crayon project to work properly the first time, maybe that's okay. maybe it's okay. Yeah, we just need to relax and embrace the chaos and know that it doesn't mean that there's something wrong with us as makers. So, for the record, the reason there's no project this week is because Mr. Ugly over there needs a makeover. Now, I don't want to spoil it for you, but when that video comes out, there might be a hiccup or two. So look for that in the next couple weeks. All right, thank you very much for listening to me babble. I hope that embracing chaos is something that resonates with you, that helps you. And if not, I hope that you enjoyed my hat.